Hey, model workers, this is your Gen 24 on his way to work. Episode 2 of Drive to Work. So, last week was interesting. Totally loved it. For those who don't know, we ended up going down to Denton, Texas. We live streamed quite a bit, blogged a little bit, recorded a podcast on the way back. So, there's definitely that. I totally loved it. Honestly, out of all the different conventions that I've been to, I have to say that ReaperCon is my favorite. Totally dug it, totally loved it, and we'll be going back. Now, upcoming conventions, the next convention that I'm looking at going to is Ep2. I don't foresee me going to any other conventions between here and there. We've already started reserving our hotel room and everything else, so that one's pretty much a go. But, the hardest part about this entire ReaperCon thing is my after write-up, because it's a gist of a book report, because it's just so long. And, one of my proofreaders read it, and they're like, this isn't you, it's not funny, it's not you. And I was like, well, damn. So I went back and I redid it. And I'm still not feeling it. Maybe they'll come back and be like, this is great. So hopefully that's the case. But for those that didn't know, myself, Wes, my best friend since middle school, my girlfriend Kim, and Joe the Oddball from back in the day on the podcast, my old driving teammate, we all drove down to Denton. It was an 18-hour drive. Honestly, not overall too difficult, just a lot of time on the road. And I'm a professional truck driver, and it felt like a lot of time on the road. Oh my God, my butt was sore. Yeah, so the only funny thing that happened on the trip was they tried to put us in a Prius, and as visions of clown cars, people rolling out of them, because 3 of the 4 of us are fluffy, and actually all 4 of us are fluffy. But yeah, so I was like, no, and I ended up paying a little bit extra for a different vehicle. It kind of sucked because it cut down on my fuel economy. I was a little upset about that, but it is what it is. Currently running down I-70 between Richmond, Indiana and Dayton, Ohio, because that's where I work, is the Big D. That's what she said. But yeah, but the trip was great. I ended up crashing out about 5 a.m., got up at about 8 a.m. It's like a Christmas effect, I swear. Everyone else was rolling out of bed. Went and dropped Wes and Joe off. Kim and I went and got the Great American Breakfast or brunch or whatever it was of Whataburger, because, yeah, if you haven't been down to Texas and haven't had a Whataburger, oh, you're missing out, my friend. You're missing out. It is an amazing hamburger. But anyways, we got to ReaperCon, and this is one thing that really makes ReaperCon great to me, is that you walk in and all you see people playing Cav, because while Cav is its own game, the game is made by the miniatures and everything's made by Reaper. You see people playing D&D, and the first thing you see when you walk in is Fort Wapple. For those who don't know, Fort Wapple's a painting area that James and Kathy Wapple set up at, I believe, Adepticon a while back. It may have made its premiere at Reaper, I'm not entirely sure, but it's kind of grown, and it's the bona fide painting area. If you're going to go paint, you want to get advice about painting, you end up at Fort Wapple. And you never know what's going to happen at midnight at Fort Wapple. People busting open packages of gummy bears and painting the gummy bears. It happened. Some of them turned out ridiculously good. Damn. What the hell? But yeah, so they ended up painting gummy bears. And this is the type of shenanigans that happen at Fort Wapple. If you're at Adepticon, Fort Wapple is a 24-hour thing. It goes all night long. I'm not sure about Reaper, but I wouldn't surprise me if there was someone there for the entire night painting at something, because that's what we do. We're geeks and dorks and all that stuff. But another good thing is it's D&D. So basically all you see is a majority of this is Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, or other role-playing games in miniature painting all over. That's what this convention is. And I was like, holy crap, this convention really talked to me. Really, really talked to me. because that's the type of stuff that I grew up on. Don't get me wrong, I like war games, I like playing games, but the fact that there's a convention that is more focused on painting than anything, that just blows my mind. And honestly, I haven't seen a convention. I know Adepticon has a lot of amazing painters and stuff, but I was more impressed with Reaper. And I've never seen Gen Con as a quote-unquote big painting convention. It's a gaming convention. I know that Lynn disagrees with me there, but friends disagree from time to time. But Reaper really showed me, what a painting convention could and should be. They had 1,500, they had just shy of 1,000 entries. And that was like double from last year. And everyone I talked to reported doubles. And I ended up judging an event with Yeji and Brian from Super Chibi. So, as you can tell, I judged the chibi portion. And there was some amazing stuff. Like, we had to, out of nowhere, create a junior division because we didn't think there was going to be that many juniors in painting chibis. And there was a lot of them. And it's like, oh, crap, we got to get an award for these folks because that's, you got to spoil the new generation, get them in. Here's some more minis. Paint them. Yeah, and so everyone stepped up. Big shout out to Scale 75, Super Chibi, and also Bombshells Miniatures for stepping up and giving us prize support for the kids. That was totally awesome because this was completely unplanned. And also shout out to Reaper for printing us up little certificates for the kids as well. I know you guys were super, super unrealistically busy, and it means a lot that you would stop even for a moment what you're doing and getting us that stuff. So that was really awesome of everyone involved in that portion. So, yeah. So, okay. I went on a tangent, like, duh. So, walk in, there's Jim. I go get my customary hug and butt grab, play with his hair a little bit, but he's super busy. Creeper Liz was there with Mojo, her dog. This is a dog-friendly convention. Holy crap, was not expecting this. That was so cool. Mojo was there, got to get a selfie with him. He's a short little bulldog, so I had to get on the floor, but it was totally worth it. He was such a cutie. So it's dog friendly, so you got to see several dogs walking around the convention itself. And for a lot of folks who have the social anxiety that's really bad, being able to bring in their support dogs with no hassle at all meant a lot to them, and you could tell. So first thing we did was Kim and I ran over to the Reaper booth. We picked up a couple sets of dice that were in the VIP bag, and I missed out because I ordered too late. I didn't realize there was a cutoff for VIP. Oops. But honestly, from what I saw, it didn't behoove us to go VIP anyways. Now, the dice came in as a really cool box, but the dice that were contained inside were very disappointing. So, the box is awesome. The dice, not so much. They were pizza dice. I was expecting something that looked like pizza, and it was like a $2 set of play set of D&D dice. Very plain Jane, very generic. Just really disappointing. And I paid $10 a pop for them, but whatever. It is what it is. So, next thing we did, we walked around the convention area to the vendors area, which Reaper is in front of, but they have a curtain, so we had to walk back. And the first shop right there on the corner was Mark and Kim Norton from Frozen Ninja 3D. Now, Mark's been on the podcast before, and we've hung out with him, and I saw him at Adepticon as well, hung out with him there, though I didn't find his booth until like the end of the convention, so we didn't hang out as much as we wanted to. I was able to hang out with him a bit more at ReaperCon, so it's awesome. I actually count those two as friends because they're just awesome people. I picked up another one of their busts, actually the one that's currently being given away, so if you want a free bust, go check out Frozen Ninja 3D. I've also been posting it on Models Workshop, so you can check it out there. And yeah, you have a chance of winning one of their ginormous busts, which is the exact same one I own. So you should be seeing that on the live stream. Speaking of which, live stream coming. We'll cover that in a different one because, yeah, lots of info there. Well, after breaking away from Frozen Ninja. Right next to them was Scale 75. Brian wasn't in, so I didn't get a chance to talk with him. So we moved on, saw a couple really cool shops. There was a area there for the Humane Society, and they brought the most adorable kitties. Oh my god, they were so cute. I really sucked at getting pictures. I kind of focused on friends. I didn't get a lot of pictures until the last days, and I'm missing selfies with like almost all my friends, which really kind of sucks. But they had 2 kittens there. They were absolutely adorable. They dressed up in little clothes. It looked kind of like almost like a guild where there's a group of people selling in one booth, which was really cool. Yeah, I picked up a few things from there, some lapel pins, and so donated some money, got a sticker for my car, and it was totally awesome. I love playing with the kitties. So difficult not to bring one home, but I had to not bring one home. After that, went and talked to Ken from Badger for a little bit, hung out with him. He teased me, and he corrected me on something and then teased me relentlessly for like the next few minutes. So it's neat. It's getting to know Ken a little bit more. Hopefully you'll see some projects between Badger and Models Workshop coming up in the future. And if not, I'll still recommend the products of theirs that I like, which is the 2 main airbrushes that I use from them. After that, I spent most of my afternoon actually chilling with Jessica Rich. She's switched. For those that don't know, Jessica Rich is this huge, amazingly talented miniature painting artist. She got out about 1.5 years ago of painting miniatures and switched over to watercolor 2D pictures, like paintings. You can check out her stuff at brushmistress.com. And she was an amazingly talented miniature painting. And her claim to fame is she would take these miniatures that would have like dresses or horses that would have barding or something like that, and she would do these amazingly intricate tiny portraits on them. Well, when she switched over to watercolors, she was able to take that talent and transfer it over as well. And so she makes these super tiny, intricate little paintings. Like, I own one of the paintings that's a print, and the original was 2.5 by 3 inches. And you could have fooled me. Like, I had no idea that the original was that small because my print is like 4 by 6, and the details are just that intricate. So it's really amazing. I personally own 3, between my girlfriend and I, we own 3 originals, and and a whole bunch of prints, because you got to support your friends. But it was real cool because it was like pink hair, green hair. We're sitting there chilling at the booth, and I tried to sell her, not literally, but get her some more supporters and more patrons and everything else, because she's super talented and she's super humble too. So she doesn't do well with like going, hey, support my patron. So I did it for her. I know I got her a couple, which was really awesome. I actually ended up upgrading my damn self too. Imagine that. I didn't realize she had a tier. And then my buddy Wes was like, hey, she has this 1 tier, right? And I was like, what? Really? No. So I went and, oopsie. Not a oopsie. Totally worth it. Like I said, Jess is a boss. Definitely, if you have a chance, check out her artwork and her Etsy. Her prints are amazing. She uses a super, super high-res printer and scanner. So even her prints, it's honestly at times really difficult to tell her prints from her originals apart. And that's a testament to the quality of her prints. And because her originals are super finely intricate. Now, one last thing, and it really touched me really close, is that she had a painting, and I, in good conscience, couldn't go, hey, I want to buy it, because I was preparing for ReaperCon. I just didn't have the money. I loved the painting, and I kind of had, by time the money resources switched out and everyone paid me back for planning our trip to ReaperCon, I had the cash, and I was like, I asked her if she still had it, and she had sold it, and I absolutely loved it. And I was like, damn, I was a little disappointed, I'm not going to lie, but she actually made a print And it's cool because the print is actually the same size as the original, so it's almost like I have the original, but I don't. And she brought it to me at ReaperCon and gave it to me, and that really, really meant a lot. Like, it really, really meant a lot, and I was like, damn. So, but yeah, I sat there for a couple hours at least, if not throughout the entire day. And one of my friends was like, describe what it's like talking to Jess, because, you know, she's one of the first people that I got into painting. And honestly, I think the best thing to say about any of these people that you look up to, really, really hardcore, because don't get me wrong, there are moments that I fanboy over some of the artists that are there, but a majority of them, and I mean like a super majority, most of the people that I've ever met in the painting community are just super fucking chill. Like Jess, you know, here's this world-winning, world-famous artist, and I can't even mention all of her accolades, and she just loves to sit there and chill and talk to people. And it's not any different, you know. And if you have a question like, hey, I saw this, do you know how do you do something like that? And she'll be happy to chat with you about it. Same with Jim. Same with, like, the next day, Jen Haley was at the booth with Jess, and I have never had a chance to actually meet Jen Haley. She was always super busy anytime I saw her, like ridiculously busy. And she's a person that I have looked up to and I've respected, and one of the first major, quote unquote, super major famous artists that were out there that I ever followed. And so I got to actually sit down, and she's the same way. She's just super chill, really nice to joke with, and just awesome. And that's one thing I love about the painting community, is most of the people in it are just super awesome, super laid back, super chill, and they're not out to feed their egos or anything like that. They're just people who have a little bit more talent. And it's just like Ben Comet too. I know a lot of people tease me because I always bring him up as an example, but honestly, I went and I talked to him, and the dude's an amazing painter, no matter if I like his painting style or not. Dude is freaking amazing. And I told him the story about, hey, you know, some of my friends asked me if I hated you because, you know, XYZ. Jason, I'm looking at you. And he got a laugh out of it. He got a belly laugh out of it. And I love that. I really do. You know, he could have got offended. He really could have. But honestly, he didn't. He got a good laugh, and he's like, oh, so you don't like my sparkly paint jobs. And that's the type of people that are in a miniature painting community. I don't know what it is. You know, maybe it's the fact that I've called a lot of these people friends for so long that I'm immune to the fanboy type thing. But I think, honestly, it's just the fact I realize that they're just normal people. They're just easy to get along with, easy to talk with, easy to deal with. And I've had people even be like, hey, man, thanks for taking time out to help. And, you know, that's what I'm here for, is to help out, help people make connections and all that stuff. Speaking of making connections, I got to hook up and meet the paint rack people. I've been working with those guys and dealing with them since, like, paint rack was first a thing. So that was so freaking awesome to finally meet them. They were only in town for a single day, so that was a sad news. But I got to hook them up with Super Chibi. He just had some paint drop, and so that'll be in the app soon. Speaking of which, Super Chibi has some new paints. I got to paint with them at their booth for a little bit. I really kind of dig them. Of course, I picked up some Super Chibi stuff because why not? Man. And after Super Chibi, well, Tim Martin was there with New Way Designs. He's actually right next to Super Chibi. So maybe next year, instead of renting multiple booths, we might go in and rent 3 booths together, maybe even 4, and then have a hodgepodge of different products. And if I'm there, I will probably be live streaming while I'm there, and hopefully with cameras, the entire 9 yards, if I get everything set up right. So I think that'll be pretty neat as well. After that, kind of got kicked out of the hall. I was in the middle of painting a chibi, and they're like, "You must leave." And it's like, okay. So myself and James, a longtime supporter of the podcast, like supporter in the sense that while I can't say the podcast would shut down if it wasn't for him. He definitely made my life a lot easier with his support. He bought prime example, broken leg. Our hard drive was filling up, and I was like, damn, how do I make space? And he bought me a hard drive. It wasn't ridiculously expensive or anything, but it means a lot, because it's like, oh, damn, he didn't have to do that, and he did. Well, he asked if we could go out for dinner, and I was like, yeah. So we went to Toasties Tacos, and they are absolutely not authentic Mexican, but oh my goodness, I don't know how to describe them. Someone said that they're an Austin thing, so they're Austin tacos instead of Austin Powers, but they basically have like 16 different types of tacos. They range between $3 and $5 a piece, and they are all delicious. I think I've eaten 75% of the tacos on that board. I'm not even kidding. We went and ate there like 3 times. Toasties. I even got a hat, and I love the hat. It's totally cool. Wes and I both got the same one. But in a nutshell, James was like, y'all need to get off either y'all need to get off your ass and actually do something, or y'all need to quit. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. And James is going to be like, that's not what I said. But essentially, yes. Actually, it kind of is. And he really was like, y'all need content. Y'all need this. So we are, Yeji, myself, and Jim are sitting down and coming up with a regular schedule for the podcast again. So it will be back. Plus, I'm doing these little drive to works whenever I have stuff to actually get out. Sometimes they'll be 5 minutes long. Sometimes they'll be 25, like this one. I had a lot of stuff to put out because, ReaperCon. Kim and I are also setting up for a live stream, and it's going to basically be the experienced painter with the newbie painter sitting next to each other, and the desks that we're looking at buying, they face each other. So we'll get all the cameras fixed up. And the cool thing about that, the way the tables are, we can actually play board games too, and other games whenever they're coming out. So we'll actually have Models Workshop Let's Plays, and we'll actually be able to demo games, play different games that have caught our eye, or just stream a fun little game. So totally looking forward to that. And yeah, so basically it was a shit to get off the pot type moment. He really kind of pushed the buttons. And don't get me wrong, the entire trip down to ReaperCon, I was like, ooh, can't wait, want to paint. I'm finally getting over this. Want to paint. Awesome. And, his talk helped out a lot. So that really pushed myself on top of everybody else going, hey, are you guys coming back? To, finalize the plans on coming back. We are going to be here. This is a new thing, and as well as some other stuff that we have planned as well. Yeji already has her little Twitch stream going on, so I'm going to be launching mine, and a couple other folks have theirs. So we're maybe talk about a little network going on, but we'll have to see. But ultimately, yeah, and that was just day one. Day two was a lot of the same as the first day. I finished up looking at the shops that I didn't have a chance to look at before. There was some really neat stuff. But by about midday, we ended up bouncing out, and we went and visited some game shops in the area, which I'm going to talk about later because it would almost double the length of the podcast, or the drive to work, and I'm actually almost to work. So day 2 and day 3 coming up soon. Love you guys. My guys, you're awesome. Thank you for listening in. If you appreciate what we do in the podcast, the best thing you can do to help us out is tell a friend. Be like, hey, I have this funny podcast. It's about miniature painting. Yeah, it actually works. You should listen to it. That's the best way y'all can help us out. And it's totally free. Just takes a couple seconds of your time. Share it out to different places. That's kind of what we need. But anyways, like I said, love you guys. And until the next time, bye.